Good morning, Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com here with your Hurricane and Hurricane HD video blog for Monday, July 16th, 2012. I want to take a look at sea surface temperature anomalies. This is from the National Hurricane Center's site with information from the National Centers for Environmental Prediction, the National Weather Service, and of course NOAA, as you can see up there on the top part of the screen. Why do I mention that? Because this is a different type of map than we're used to seeing. It's a 7-day average based on the Richard Reynolds methodology. It's a long story, but basically there's different methods of collecting data and then displaying it on maps, charts, and graphs. And this happens to be the Reynolds method. See? Sea surface temperature anomaly. So what do we see? Well, most of the Atlantic is right at or just slightly above. See, there's 0, 0 right there is normal. So anything on this side of that would be above normal or above average is a better way to put it. And with the exception of the extreme eastern Atlantic where there are some negative anomalies, most of the rest of the basin here is just ever so slightly above average. And not enough to really make any big difference right now, but at least in the deep tropics. But then look up here. That is incredible. Huge area of very, very positive anomalies. 4 degrees Celsius above normal here, running 1 to 2 degrees Celsius above normal along the mid-Atlantic and northeast. Now that could play in to being a factor in August and September if something were to come up the coast, but nothing to worry about right now. And as we look in the eastern Pacific, I wanted to show you something really fascinating, at least it is to me. All of this cold water anomaly area right here probably attributed to Amelia, well, actually the trio, Daniel, Amelia, and now Fabio. And so sea surface temperatures have really been knocked down through this area. You also have a negative anomaly showing up right there in the Nino 1 and 2 area. That's part of the larger El Nino Southern Oscillation phenomenon, and we're seeing just a little bit of a cool down right there, almost minus 1 degree Celsius there in the middle, indicative of this strong area of high pressure, the very positive SOI, the Southern Oscillation Index, meaning that the pressure pattern across the Pacific right now is such that the trade winds are blowing rather briskly in this direction, and so the El Nino that had been growing and burgeoning has been sort of halted, at least for now. So interesting developments there. In the tropical Atlantic, all of this right here, this is a water vapor shot showing the moisture in the air, and this shows the lack of moisture. A large actual dual area of Saharan air layer. There's one right here and then another one right here. These big punches of dry, stable, dusty air are moving their way across the Atlantic. Eventually we'll go into the Caribbean, and these might make their way into South Florida eventually, maybe depositing a fine layer of dust on your windshield and providing some incredible sunsets. You also see there's an upper level low pressure center right here, and then generally just troughiness and nothing but cyclonic flow all across the Atlantic basin right now. Negative, negative, negative conditions. Nowhere is it favorable for development. And if we look at the wind shear map from the University of Wisconsin, you can see, look at this. This is just all cyclonic flow, very strong upper level winds with an upper level low pressure area to the northeast of the Caribbean, another upper level trough here to the east of Florida. The only ridging in the atmosphere where there's anticyclonic flow that would be favorable for development is way out here in the eastern Atlantic, but there's the Saharan air layer to deal with, and so nothing's going to develop. This is very typical for this time of year. Nothing unusual about it that I can see. A month from now, we will really start to be looking for signs that this will change, where we start to see larger areas of upper level high pressure developing that'll knock all these westerlies right here out. They will lift up here to the northern latitudes and stay gone. And then we see large areas of high pressure build in the upper levels to support tropical cyclone formation. Usually that happens in mid-August and lasts through about the end of October. So we're just not there yet. It takes time, which is good. Most people just rather there not be any hurricanes at all. In the eastern Pacific, Fabio on its way to weakening. It will encounter the colder waters of the East Pacific, and it'll die away into a remnant low as it moves on to the north and eventually north-northeast. Not any threat or problems to land areas whatsoever. And then the rest of the Pacific, the eastern Pacific anyway, calming down with a new tropical storm in the western Pacific. Check your Hurricane and Hurricane HD app for tracking info on the new tropical storm way out in the western Pacific that could impact parts of Japan. Remember, Hurricane and Hurricane HD track these tropical cyclones, not just Atlantic hurricanes, but typhoons as well. Yeah, very good. Again, I'm Mark Sudduth, my website, hurricanetrack.com. Thank you for watching. I'll have another video blog for you tomorrow.